today we come back to the scientific meeting, and as usual, we have two presentations today, one by our doctor and the other one by the resident. And the first one today, we hear about the blue surgical technique for limbal stem cell deficiency. It will be presented by Dr. Roti Hang. Dr. Roti Hang worked part-time in cornea department, and she has few year experiences, and he has been studying in Australia and in the United States. And today she will share with us her knowledge and her experiences about the technique. So please.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Dear Professor Wilson here, and colleagues and friends. Today, on behalf of cornea department, I'm very pleased to be here to present a topic about the novel surgical technique for limbal stem cell deficiency. As you know, that regeneration of human tissue is very challenging and promising topic in all over the world, not only in ophthalmology. And regeneration is based on the stem cell theory. And to understand more about that, we first look at the connection between the ocular surface and the stem cell. The cornea is a uniquely translucent and avascular tissue. Cornea epithelium is maintained and regenerated from limbal stem cells. In practice, both cornea epithelium can regenerate itself continuously, and therefore any loss of limbal stem cells will lead to ocular surface disease. In this picture, you can see very clearly about the position of limbal stem cell. The limbal stem cell is located in the basal layer of the limbus, and it acts like a barrier against the invasion of the conjunctival epithelium and blood vessels. Here is the position of the limbal stem cell, and here is the image of the palisade spot when the limbal stem cell is located. About the disease of limbal stem cell deficiency. Here is the definition. Limbal stem cell deficiency is an ocular surface disease caused by a decrease in the population and or dysfunction of corneal epithelial stem cells. The corneal epithelium will be replaced by the conjunctival epithelium if any damage to limbal stem cells. That's why the loss of the corneal clarity, impaired vision, chronic pain, photophobia, and keratoplasty failure will be happen if there is damage here. Here is the article study on the definition and classification diagnosis of the limbal stem cell published on the Cornea Journal. About the clinical features, the symptom will be the impaired vision, chronic irritation, and photophobia perturbation. And on the six-line examination, we can see that many symptoms like, firstly, is the loss of palisade support. Here in the picture, we can see that. Here is the image of the normal palisade support, and here is the image of the affected cornea with the absence of palisade support. And there will be the corneal neovascularization and corneal fibrosis. Because the limbal stem cell is acting like a barrier against this, and will be happens with the recurrent or persistent epithelial defect, corneal tumor scaling, keratinization, and calcification. At the end stage or surfaces will be ulceration, melting, and perforation of the cornea. To support the diagnosis of this disease, we will have some laboratory examinations. The first one is the most important and is considered as the gold standard, is the impression cytology. It will help us to detect the growth cell is the hallmark of this disease. And other laboratory examination will be conventional histochemistry and then immunohistochemistry, and also the in vivo quantiform microscopy. It's very sensitive approach to detect this disease. and anterior segment OCT also. About the diagnosis of retinal severity of this patient is divided into two groups. The first one is the partial deficiency, and the second one is total deficiency. In this image, you can see that the lesion does only affect a part of the cornea, and the other part is, we can see that liver stem cell is still intact. And this picture, we can see that the fibrosing neovascularization panels cover entire cornea in the group of total deficiency. About the etiology, we have two groups. The first one is genetic, and the second one is acquired by the inflammatory disease like Stevens-Johnson syndrome, ocular benficoid, and GVSD, general keratosis conjunctivitis, neurotropic keratopathy, and another etiology is infection disease, such as any infection can cause this disease, and traumatic disease like chemical burns, any kind of ocular surface that affects either lupus, radiation and chemotherapy, and improper contact lens used for a long time, and also the tumors. And how about the treatment? We all know that the treatment will be the first one is the medical treatment is very significant and throughout the course of disease. The first one, we need to stop the traumatic orthosis or improper contact lens use. And second one, we need to control very well the inflammation by using corticosteroids, cyclosporine, tacrolimus, xeromycin. And after that, we need to improve the healing of the ocular surface environment by using the free preservative lubricant, correcting any least malposition to reduce the exposure to the ocular surface, and frontal occlusion, autologous serum adults, and use contact lens like a sterile lens. If the medical treatment does not go well and the disease is to become worse, we need to consider to do the surgical treatment for the patient. About the surgical treatment, we need to base on three things. The first one is the retinal severity. The second one, we need to consider if this patient is bilateral or unilateral disease, and it also depends on hospital conditions. So selection of the appropriate surgical therapy should be considered very well and carefully. And all surgical treatment is a cell-based theory, involved tissue and engineering techniques for corneal epithelium regeneration. The first technique is conjunctival limbal autograft with the indication for the unilateral total limbal stem cell deficiency. The technique is, firstly, we need to resect 2 to 3 o'clock of limbal conjunctival tissues for the position of the 12 and 6 o'clock position. And after that, we remove all the fibrosis of the corneal panel in the recipient eye. And after that, we suture the graft on the recipient eye with the correct orientation. This technique has some advantages, such as no need for systemic immunosuppression, and is very simple. And disadvantages of this technique is only cover about 40 to 50% of the limbus, and it has the risk of the inducing limbal stem cell deficiency in the donor eye. And because of that, because this technique is used for the unilateral, so it can combine with the technique called living-related conjunctival limbal autograft. It means that we take the graft from the living relative patient to treat the bilateral limbal stem cell deficiency. Because of that, we need to use the systemic immunosuppression for the patient, and so they have the risk for the virus. The second technique is keratolimbar allograft for the bilateral total limbal stem cell. It has some advantages for supply a large number of stem cells. And these advantages are, the first one is the risk of the rejection failure. And we have to use the systemic immunosuppression because this drug is taken from the donor eye. And it's lacked in the conjunctival tissue. And it's very complex and less recover for epithelialization. Keratolymph of the drug is also a better additive in those patients with liver stem cells but normal conjunctival. And the next technique is use the amnion membrane transplantation. It's very common using all over the world. If indication is for the partial liver stem cell deficiency or total one, it can combine with other liver stem cell transplantation because they have some benefits, significant benefits like anti-inflammation, promote epithelialization. And however, it has some disadvantages of risk of transmission of infection to the recipient. If the donor are not effectively screened for the communicable disease, and if the membrane is not processed under sterile conditions, it will happen with these disadvantages. And the second disadvantage is accidentally obesify the visual aid. The next technique is cultural liver epithelial transplantation, or it's called select. This technique means that we culture the cell in the visual and transplant it to the recipient's eyes. It's for unilateral liver stem cell deficiency. The technique is the first one. We need to dissect about 2 millimeter tissues, liver tissue from the healthy fellow eye, and then we culture it to make the epithelial cyst in the quite specialized laboratory setup, and then we prepare the recipient corner bed and transplant the epithelial cyst in the place with the sutures. This technique has some advantages with the smaller amount of donor stem cell, and it will have to eliminate coverage of the ocular surface, and it needs less systemic immunosuppression, and it can be repeated. This technique has won the award called Kovaleska in 2014 by Dr. Huntington and Cornell team. And however, the technique has some limitations. The first one, and it's very significant, is that require high cost for setting up the specialized laboratory to do the culturing the epithelial cyst. It means that the patient has to experience two-step procedure, has to come to patient twice to do this. Another technique is how cultivated oral mucosal transplantation. It's called COMET. It's for bilateral liver stem cell deficiency. With the technique, the first one is harvesting of tissue is about 3 millimeter oral mucosal incubation and culturing it to make epithelial cyst in the laboratory test. And after that, we need to remove all the fibrosis vascular content in the cornea of the recipient, and then we can do the transplantation of epithelial cyst. This technique, it has some advantages and disadvantages like the select technique that I mentioned above. The first one is the autologous sources, so we don't need to do the systemic immunosuppression, and it can be used for bilateral liver stem cell deficiency. It's quite safe and can be repeated. And disadvantages is like the select, because it requires a high cost for the setting the specialized laboratory, and fibrosis and no vascular in peripheral stenosis, and patient have to come to hospital twice for the procedure. Because of this, some limitation of this technique above, that's why ophthalmology all over the world had to come up with a new technique. It's called simple limbal epithelium transplant. It was invented by Dr. Someone at the first time in 2012. The technique is harvest limbal tissue from healthy fellow eye, and after that we need to do the 360 variectomy with the removal of corneal blindness in the recipient eye, and then after that we cover with the amnion membrane with using a PV glue to attach it, and after that the graft is cut into about 10 pieces to fix all the end in the circulation functions using PV glue. And the last step is use the contact lens to fix all of that. So the most outstanding point of this technique is that instead of using the ex vivo expansion technique transplantation directly onto the affected cornea, no need to use a specialized laboratory to do the contouring. So it has some advantages over the technique above. Here is the video to explain the technique. I have this video from the Dr. Basu from Alvin Hospital. The first one is to remove the biopsy from the healthy fellow eye. Try to reach the limbus where the limbal stem cell deficiency is located, and insert it and remove the conjunctival. After that, we take only the limbal stem cell in the limbus of the cornea. And the second part is to remove all the fibrosis, vascularization fibers on the cornea. This step, they had to take very carefully because it can cause perforation on the cornea. Try to remove all the conjunctival veinless on the cornea end. The next step is using the amnion membrane cover all the cornea, and using the PV glue to attach the AM on the cornea. Very little PV glue. And we need to take all the aesthetics of the amnion membrane. And the last step is divide the graft into about 10 pieces of epithelium. Remember that the epithelium needs to be side up. And we place it all over the corner in the limbus, near the limbus, in the circulation fissure. And use the PV glue to stick it onto the cornea. Not too much. And the job of trophy is left over the epithelium. We have to wait about 1 minute to allow the feeding group to totally attack the epithelium cells. And then after that, we can place the contact lens over the cornea and remove it carefully to make sure it's not pulled on the cells and contact lens out. So this technique combines the advantages and avoid the limitations of these techniques both like claw and select, because it's very simple. It's a simple procedure. It takes less amount of tissue, so reduce the risk of damage to the donor eye, and no need to use immunosuppression, no risk of rejection, and no need to specialize laboratory. It will reduce the cost for the patient and can be offered virtually by trained corneal specialists. The use of feeding fluid is essential because the feeding fluid has some benefits. The first one is the biological tissue adhesive in ocular surface retraction. It forms a full contact seal between the transplant tissue and ocular surface, and then it will have the effective effect immediately right after the surgical and shorten time for the surgery, reduce irritation symptoms of the patient, reduce inflammation and infection due to the suture post-op, and no need to do the suture removal. It's very helpful in case of the children and patients with a bad cooperation, and it's very necessary in this last technique. Here is some clinical result of the study in the SLAT technique. After the Dr. Sangwan, the first technique in 2012, there are some doctors also study this technique with some number of the patients, like from 30 to 125, with some significant outcomes like stable corneal epithelium form here, with the improvement in visual acuity. And the follow-up period is quite long, from 6 months to about 28 months. Here are some pictures for the post-op pre and post-op of SLAT. We can see very significant difference after the surgery. The ocular surface can be stable, and it can remove all the conjunctiva all over the cornea. To understand more about this technique and have more evidence about the corneal epithelial cell on the cornea after doing the SLAT technique, a doctor, V.Medical, a study called epithelial analysis of the simple limbal stem cell transplantation in the limbal stem cell deficiency by in vivo confocal microscope and impression cytology. Using these two techniques, examination, we can study and support the support the outcome of the SLAT technique, because in the impression cytology, the marker is the cytokeratin. It can show us that on the corneal surface is the corneal cell or conjunctival cell. For example, in CK12 appear on the cornea, it means that we have corneal cell after the SLAT technique, and the CK7 it means that we have conjunctival cell on the cornea after the SLAT technique. It's very helpful. Here is a picture pre-op, and here is a picture post-op. After 18 months post-op, this picture A5 shows us that impression cytology has CK12 positive and CK7 negative. And here is the in vivo confocal microscope show us that the image of multilayer corneal epithelium. And here also the outcome. Here is a picture of the pre-op and the pictures of the post-op. This picture is using the impressive cytology with a CK12 positive and CK7 negative. And the A6 is the image of the uniform confocal with the multi-layer corneal epithelium image. The conclusion for my presentation is that limbal stem cell deficiency is a complex condition as many different etiologies, different grades of clinical involvement. This technique still has some limitation in diagnosis and monitoring of the outcome. Limbal stem cell deficiency management has developed significant in the last 20 years thanks to the development of the new stem cell transplant technique. SLAT is a new stem cell transplantation procedure that promising technique for both patient and clinician. Thank you for your listening.
Thank you very much, Dr. Utihan, for your presentation. And from your presentation, you can learn very comprehensive treatment of the limbal epithelial stem cell deficiency. And you can see from the simple technique to very, let's say it's a very modern technique now. And we'd like to have a comment or a question from the audience. Do you have any comment or questions? From your presentation, you can see that we decided to choose a surgery. It depends on the situation of the patient. The patient have a both eye or one eye, have a limbal stem cell in both eye or in only one eye. Because if the patient have one normal eye, you can use limbal stem cell in the good eye. And if the patient have a disease in both eyes, we have no choice. We either have to use the output graft. It means that we take the stem cell from other people to replace, or we have to recombine. Yeah, that's right. So, is there any comment or question from Coordinator Dr. Cook, please?
Thank you very much, Dr. Han. On behalf of all the doctor in the cornea department, we had a very good presentation. And as you know that the limbal stem cell deficiency is a unique phenomenon in the corneal surface disease, and it's very severe condition. So, and as you can see, it seems to be easy to diagnose, but the treatment is a very big challenging. Besides treating the main disease, we have to do surgery for the reconstructing of the surface and regenerating the epithelial cell. And there are many techniques have been done for doing it, and as Dr. Han presented. Of course, it's indicated in each cases, and in fact, almost the techniques have been done in our department by the Professor Cho and Professor Tri and the doctors. But SLAT is I think the most recent technique. As you can see, it's very simple as it names, but it have very effective for doing and for treating this disease. Of course, however, the indication is limited in all these patients who have one eye, have a disease in one eye, and other eye is fellow eye is normal. So we can take the limbal stem cell to translate the other eye. And the severity is not, the condition is not very severe. So, and thanks to our director, Professor here, last year, Dr. Thuy and Dr. Zhou in our department went to Thailand for learning this technique, and they are sure that they can do it well. But unfortunately now, the filtering glue is not available. But in the near future, thanks to the director and the head of the pharmaceutical department, Mr. Lee, and we will have the filtering glue in the near future, and we can apply this technique for the treating patient. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Cruz. Is there any comment? So let's come back to the case if the patient have a disease in only one eye. So what we have done that is we take the stem cell from the good eye into the easy eye, let's say that. So from the study in the department, what about the subsetting? Do we have another? Or let's say because Dr. Kung have mentioned about the SAT. SAT is the more, let's say the more advanced surgery now to treat the unilateral disease. And before we also do the same, but not like the SAT. It means that we take a smaller number of the stem cell and we do the surgery on the other eye. But traditionally, we also take the same, but we have to do more. We take more. So when you prepare the presentation, you have the number about that.
Actually, in the technique, it's called the lattice technique, and it has some author try to study this technique with the number of them. So it's not too large. It's from 30 to 128 technique, and it has some like significant outcome for the patient. And if this, some doctors also study this thing for the bilateral disease. It's called allograft leg, and they also publish this outcome in the journal. But I haven't mentioned it in here. And I think the technique has some very significant advantages over this technique because it can culturing the liver stem cell directly on the cornea to all the entire cornea. Instead of using a part of the graft like cow or other techniques. And because of that, we don't need to do the two-step procedure with just only one. And because of that, I think this technique until now there's not many study until now, but there is still information in the future, even for the unilateral and bilateral disease.
I still remember that in the past we have one patient. The patient have ocular burns in one eye and the other eye is normal eye. And then we replace. We take some tissue from the good eye to the burn eye. And unfortunately, because of burn eye, so even though when we do the transplantation, but it doesn't work. It's maintained due to the burn eye. And there's a rip for the other eye. So at that time, we have a question. Should we keep the same? It means that we keep the good eye for the patient, so the patient can have an eye forever for the whole of life, and the other eye, we accept the situation that the patient cannot see, or we do something. That's very challenging cases for us. If we do nothing, of course, we have no answer. If we do, sometimes it happens like that, and of course we don't it happens, and the patient also. But sometimes it happens, and I see that this trend we have reduced the reach for the good eye. So, is there any questions? And Dr. Tui, yes, you have to do your thesis for PhD, and can you share your experience in doing the surgery to treat the stem cell deficiency?
Thank you, Dr. Hamid, for your presentation. The liver stem cell deficiency is always very challenging for all the studies until now. And until now, on the world, there are many solutions to achieve this disease, but it's still not quite difficult to achieve for all of the patients. And like Dr. Low said that when we decide to do the surgery or not, most important thing is do not harm more for the patient. And the main indication for surgery is it can get better or not. So it's very that is a hard question. For me, I have followed many patients with limbal deficiency for variable severity rating, and for the patient with only superficial lesion, just they have the dysfunction only the epithelial layer. The solution very simple, but if for some chemical burn patient, when the agent burn go to very deep of the tissue, when we can try many surgery for them, but with almost of these patients we are failed. So for the less technique also, if the patient have only the epithelial damage in superficial or even a little bit superficial trauma, we can remove all the fiber panels and we can reconstruct the ocular surface very well. But if in some babies with lesion quite big, that is not indication for sex of any surgical like any ocular surface reconstruction surgery either. And also the thanks to like Dr. Gung has said that thanks to Professor Director, they give me a chance to I have an opportunity to go to a workshop on SLED last year in Over, and I have a chance opportunity to attend this workshop only for 2 days, but I would learn some experience from Professor Sangwan and also Professor Vinita from Thailand. They have many excellent experience on ocular surface DD and also on SLED procedure. And nowadays, Professor Sangwan did many procedure allo SLED for bilateral patients with liver cell deficiency, but he has used mainly strictly the general treatment with immunosuppression, because the Professor Saman also very expert on the immunology. He has a PhD in America in Harvard University for immunology treatment for all of immunology disease. So until now, he has used alloSLED for bilateral ocular surface disease.
I think in order to follow the sustainability member in the class, Professor Cho also did allograft for the patient with a bilateral stem cell deficiency, but it seems that it doesn't very effective and it failed, and then after that people stop to do that. It's very different between the allograft, which is cornea allograft, and stem cell allograft. Because for cornea, we do it the center and zero blast. It is cornea no blast, so no rejection, or let's say less deletion. But for stem cell allograft, but it's limbal and a lot of blood, and it's very easy to be treated. And on the other thing that because the graft very very small, so sometimes it can be detached chemically. Yes, it's quite difficult for that way. And at that time we also don't use any 5 group, and we in the future it looks like when we do the television surgery and we do the autograft, but here that's an allograft. Does the son you want to add more?
Well, thanks for the talk. But Dr. has said that no question. What was this? First, I have some question anyway. So for liver stem cell deficiency, in our hospital we do some variety of techniques. The first one is amnion transplantation. The second one is conjunctival liver autograft, and then the less conjunctival epithelial corneal epithelial transplantation and comments. And now we know about SLATE. So I have some question about SLATE because the SLATE is a new technique, and I think it's very cost effective in the several hospital like our hospital. So I think in the future SLATE technique must be performed in place to other technique in the past. So the first question is about when you cut the tissue in the small piece. So how to define the epithelial side up after they will be cut in small piece like that? If you don't demark it, you can define it the epithelial side up. How to define it is the first question. And the second question is this technique before the put the small tissue on the corneal surface, you must be do the amnion transplantation first. But for me, in some cases, we need or not need the amnion transplantation. We can put the stem cell directly on the corneal surface by fibril glue or not. The second question. And the third one is
Could you read one by one?
Yeah.
I don't want to forget. So the first, yes.
Thank you, Dr. for the questions. For the first question about how to differentiate the epithelial size for the epithelial cells after we cut into small pieces, right? I also watched a video clip from the workshop in the website about presentation about the scientific also. This is also the questions that many people ask, and also the answer that the epithelial size is like shiny, and it has some like shiny and not thick, and even has some differences. And the reverse side of the epithelium is like we can see some fibrous and uneven, and it can easily attach to the sticky side, and try to how to do to not to reverse the epithelium side itself is that we try to make the tissue after we cut the liver region, try to make it thin as possible, because when it's thick, it's easier to reverse the size of epithelium. And after we cut into the mouth pieces, we divide it into the circulation equation and use the fibril glue right after that to not to make it reverse. And the second question.
question.
Can you mention again?
But for the to define the epithelial side off. I think it's not easy because when we do the facial surgery, we make the autograft. Sometimes the graft upside down. We can not easy to define the side where it's up and where it's down. So I think in this technique we make the remark by the pen.
About the remarking pen.
Yes. After we cut, we can see the color of the pen.
We can do that, but the author mentioned that we should not use the remarking pen because remarking pen has some alcohol. It can damage the epithelial cell. In some studies.
So in fact, on the video, you can see that the surgeon used a marking pen to mark the area that it cut, right?
But
so
not touch the limbal.
Right?
The marking pen, not touch the limbal, just in the conjunctival.
I'm sure it's very close to that area, and then they also use, and the area covered by, you can see from the video, they mark and then they cut, and you see the ink in there on the epithelial side. And I think that is the way. And I think that the some you want to mention that, right? You want to check that Dr. Han see that if he can watch the video very carefully or not. So you ask the patient. you know the answer already here. And now if you have the third one, please. Yeah, you can see that. That's the marking test. Yeah. So by that way, they know where the epithelial side and where the tumor side. Right? You think so?
Yeah. That is it's on the conjunctival, not the limbal.
But when they cut, they know what is the epithelial side.
And the second question is about using the amnion membrane. I think amnion membrane here is used as carrier because it has some protector to promote the epithelialization for the stem cell epithelium. And that's why they also mentioned that we need to use the AS because it's like the basement and carrier for the cells.
Can you stop the video? That's the way we see. What is the epithelial side and what the tumor side?
They don't use this system.
You can continue, please.
Yes, the more with all these early process.
Yeah, that's correct.
The part with
Yeah,
stem
that's
cell.
correct. So the question is why they need to map? Dr. Thủy, do you know that? You learn from Professor Samwa, so you may know that. Yeah.
I think it's not difficult to recognize
Differentiate from conjunctival and
because it's surface smooth.
they want to make sure that exactly the position of differentiate from limbal to conjunctival.
Yeah. So we can see from the video here, they mark on the conjunctival and then they cut off the part marking by the pen. And the inner part, they continue. And in this part, there is no mark anymore. Yeah.
So when we do the system, that's the system of the cornea.
Yeah.
By this system, after cut it into 10 more than 10 pieces. So how to define, how to differentiate the epithelial side?
That's one thing I see where the videos was so that they increase the magnification of the microscope. So I think by that way you can see better. You can differentiate the epithelial side and the tumor side. Yeah, by very high, very high magnification of the surgical microscope.
The first one I have one more question about it's more for me. It's not clear here, but after the place, the stem cell, where is this stem cell now? after slit. Where the stem cell locate? Stem cell now is on the ocular on the cornea surface or on the limbal? No stem cell. No more stem cell.
In this video, we can see that the doctor Basu define this is all over the liver, near the liver, in the brown circle, and try to make it too close to the liver area. This is where the stem cell, liver stem cell location. And they even do the study to recognize the cell is a corner of conjunctival by using the depression cytology with the markers here. If you detect the CK12 on the corner, it means that you have corner cell after the surgery. And if you have the CK7, it means that you still have conjunctival cell.
Also means that where the stem cell located in the cornea, in the limbal or in the cornea.
After slit technique.
If after the slit technique, firstly they place on cornea. After the technique, if I think it's on the corner cell, it will be on the corner and the limbal cell in the limbal.
And after surgery, the limbal stem cell will regenerate on the cornea and the sclera.
And we have to regenerate the stem cell.
I think the question is not fully understood by the the question is, after the surgery, can we find the stem cell on the recipient eye or not? And here from the literature you have shown us, we see only that is a cytokeratocyte. Yeah. We see the cell of the cornea only, and we cannot see where the stem cell. We have no information about that. Yeah.
Because the stem cell only is the
Yeah.
deep layer, not the surface.
And also that is a difference. Yeah. Original. I know that your department, our department, have one symposium, and we are talking about that already. Yeah. Yeah, please, Professor.
And having meeting soon, so we just want to say this is the very good technique that we use with the world and in Thailand is a neighboring country and have a lot of experience about this technique. Technically speaking, I don't know, you agree with me, this is not very complicated. And I just want to know how many sleds have you done in the department?
Until now, we haven't done any slit technique because we
So you will spend a lot of time just discussing what we have done yet. And this becomes monotone to our audience. We discuss what we did already. We discuss the results. And I think that's the spend time for a small group. And I think in terms of technique, this is not so complicated. I think quite easy to our experts. And we still have some problem, barrier. But I don't know how to say. We sent you to learn technique. Technique is not difficult. And we have a lot of patients. And we just discuss a lot of things, a lot of questions, but not
done yet. So just and moving back to the stem cell, I think we just touching to a very typical picture. This is like this is one line with very severe lesions, like burn, conjunctival burn, and cornea burn. But it's not Steven Johnson, because in Steven Johnson, we having usually both sides, see, having problems. So we not having disease one eye normal and the others. But regarding the stem cell problem, we are having a lot disease pictures of a lot of patients. For example, when we do the tertium, especially bilateral tertium, when we do the auto conjunctival blood, and the cause the effect to the vegetative stem cell, and I don't know whether we have say, like a criteria for this disease, how far we reach or how much conjunctival we get in order to protect. Rather than we treat the tertium, but we may cause another problem regarding the stem cell, for example. Or another problem I found, that is like the persistent corneal defect. Sometimes we find, we have some answers or some corneal defects, but it lasts quite a long time. And the literature saying that also relates to the stem cell, because it's not the new cells to cover. And that's also very important. And also in the presentation, also we still have some barriers. We not classify, we not grading the grades of lesions. We say, oh, we have some stem cell problems, but we don't know, the severity. In other words, we cannot grade the levels of severity, whether in these patients we can use the stem cell or the graft or others. So I think besides very typical pictures like the burns, we still have a lot of other pictures regarding or relating to the stem cell problem. And we think there's some very interesting or very good results. But for example, in the Kovalevskaya prize got by the stem cell thesis. But after finishing the thesis, got stopped because it's very costly. It's not used in commercial. So we cannot go in this way. So I think false flag, that's something we can use. But you must find the way to go, rather than waiting. Because I also discussed with the Dr. Green. When she came back to see me to report about the cost, and then that stopped. Because I know the problem. But you must find the way. And it's just a theory. We shall discuss years and by years. And we just sit here and discuss what we don't know or we haven't done yet. And I think sometimes it's waste time. So just try to bring the theory of the experience of other experts to bring back to our patients. Because it's very simple. It's not complicated at all. I don't know what we have almost 15 doctors experts in cognitive department. And it's a very simple problem. Why we don't apply? Why we don't use? Because once more I just repeat it. I know the problem. You also know the problem. But we must find the way to do rather than waiting when they can discussing. And when you discuss it, we just sit and hear it. And we don't know how we just differentiate. You haven't done yet. Just do it and we shall know how to find the right side or wrong side. If we have a problem, we just contact to the expert to ask them how to do it. Other than just so I think for something that's beyond our ability, we just. But at this moment, I think we can do almost things other experts in other countries performing. You need something, we shall support you. But some things that must need the cooperation of collaboration from you. Just keep the request on. We need this, we need that. But sometimes the people from like the supply department or from the pharmaceutical department, they cannot do. And we waste a lot of time. And in fact, from Thailand to Vietnam, we still have very big gaps. They are very qualified experts, but we know this. I think that's very often used like in Thailand, but we still here, and I don't know when we can start.
Yes, thank you, Professor Neil. In fact, that's one. I think that's one of the concerns of the cornea specialists. And one of the big things, as Professor here mentioned, that we don't have a country rule, and we have to work with the pharmaceutical company, and we support them to find out the way to import cycling rule. And so far in Vietnam, there's no cycling rule officially. If someone can bring it by hand carrying to Vietnam, it may have, but officially we don't have. And we work with them for quite a long time, but so far we haven't got it. We hope that we can solve that problem very soon. Yeah. Is there any question?
I just want to add, for blue, cognitive blue, that's for years.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You must work out the way. I think that there's some more important problem, like the donors, cognitive donors. We still get the success. Because we have to work very hard. Just rather than wait or So I think that needs the efforts. And I also want to remind you that the cornea experts, you must get involved more to the eye bank rather than just leave to the people in the eye bank. Yeah. Otherwise, very difficult. Just wait for the donors coming. It's very difficult. And this group, of course I know, but just you, it's not other people. And it's very big, it's not big problem. That group. But we must find a way. Otherwise, be able to very simple problem. It stop a lot of things. And this problem, it's just discussed years. And with this situation, next coming years, and we cannot do anything. We have almost 20 doctors, lots of relations. And because this is the future, it's our future. It's not other department future. And you must do something other than just discussing. Because I see the technique is very simple. The advantage, use a lot. We have a lot of patients. But due to lacking very simple thing, just stop, just discussing, and see what or seeing other people performing. And it's not beyond our ability. I just want to point out, if we don't do something, just waiting, reading, and seeing, what's going on outside. It's not in our country. With 1 million population, with huge numbers of patients, like that, but we just doing nothing. So I just raise the problem. Because as I mentioned, we are working out for cornea department. You will do a lot of things. But we need the cooperation. We need that effort from you. Rather than, but if you need something, you also work with us, try to find a way, raise the difficulties, and how to solve them. Just like, we don't have a desktop, we don't have a desktop. It was some million US$, this is something very difficult. But this is very simple. Very simple. We must find a way rather than waiting.
Thank you. Is there any questions? If there are no questions relating to this topic, I'd like to say thank Dr. Tan for your presentation. And we turn to the second part of the symposium today, and that's a paper review presented by Dr. Witty Chang. She is a resident, and she talked about the infantile exotropia, risk factor associated with reoperation. So please, Dr. Chang.
I am Chang. I'm a second-year resident. Today I'm going to present about a study named infantile exotropia risk factors associated with reoperation. As we know, infantile exotropia is the most common form of pediatric strabismus with the characteristics are large, constant, and stable angle, and test from birth to 6 months life. And surgery is required treatment. And the goal of the treatment is the line of user access to secure the development of inability. The reoperation rate was reported variable from 19 to 69%. The risk factors of reoperation are not known, but however, so many studies was reported that some factors was mentioned as related factors: age, gender, family history, deviation angle, age at the first history, amblyopia, and so on. Recently, there's a study was published in Clinical Ophthalmology Journal, reported that the timing of surgery, the timing of illness history was considered as the most important related to the reoperation rate. I'll give you a brief review about this study. It's named infantile exotropia risk factor associated with reoperation. This is a retrospective study. The data analyzed from 863 patients examined and operated by the same physician in Naples, Italy. This study was performed to identify factors associated with the misalignment after the first surgery in infantile esotropia patient and reoperation rate. This study included all the patients with confirmed infantile esotropia diagnosis, and exclude all the patients who have central nervous system abnormality, ocular disease, hypermetropia more than 3 diopters, and exclude all the patients who have previous intraocular history at the time of examination. So there were 525 patients compared for. The surgery technique was performed. There were major rectus resection, lateral rectus resection, inferior oblique resection, or anterior position. All the patients after surgery were followed and assessment, and the angle at the timing of 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, and 5 years for the operation. The patient who was had to perform reoperation is who has residual exotropia more than 10 prism diopter, or consecutive exotropia more than 10 prism diopter, and the angle has to be stable on flow for a long time. Or the patient who have presence of DVD. So this table shows the reoperative data of the patient on the study. About the amount of deviation, the author divided into 3 groups, like you can see, and the age of the first 3. The author also divided into 3 groups, as you can see on the table. This is a table showing the post-operative data. There are 3 groups. The first group is consecutive exotropia more than 10 prism diopter. The second group is residual exotropia more than 10 prism diopter, and the last group is the patient who have the deviation angle less than 10 prism diopter, and this group can be considered as a successful surgery, and the others are considered as unsuccessful surgery. There are 50 patients who have to perform reoperation, and it's able to 9.5%, and in which there are 15 is residual esotropia, and 35 is consecutive esotropia, and the reoperation percentage of 3 groups divided by the amount of deviation. We can see the percentage of 3 groups have no significant difference. After analyzing all the collected data, there are 2 factors related to the increase of reoperation rate. They are the outer edge of timing history and timing history of establishment. There are 2 factors associated with the decrease of reoperation. There are melanocytes and hypertropia present, and the factors was not associated with the reoperation. They are included the deviation angle, anti-amblyopic occlusion therapy, lateral recti hypertension, AOB pattern, the essence of bilateral symmetric abscess, DVD nystagmus, anomalous head position, and diopia and cross fixation. This table shows the odds ratio and confidence interval some factors like male sex, family history, hypertropia, and the time of the first history. We can see the first history performed after 3 years of age, increasing the reoperation rate with the odds ratio is 5.4 and with a 99 confidence interval. However, the first history performed between the 2 and 3 years does not significantly increase the rate of reoperation compared with the first history performed before 2 years age. And we can see the timing of necessary is one of the most important factors related to outcome. Another important parameter we have to consider is the venoglobulin. Classically, in infantile esotropia, alignment history performed as soon as possible can enhance the venoglobulin. This study didn't evaluate the venoglobulin before after surgery, but in another study was performed by the same authors and performed on a similar patient cohort, reported that infantile esotropia surgical realignment at the 2 years of age were less likely to achieve venoglobulin than performed before 2 years of age, with the adjusted odds ratio about 0.4 and with a 95 confidence interval. The benefit of early surgery for gross venoglobulin is balanced by higher reoperation rate. Several studies was performed and reported that surgery performed before 2 years have a higher incidence of reoperation. It may be due to inferior optic operation evaluation not accurate, potentially incomplete anglio treatment, angle unstable, and possibly partially spontaneous resolution can be occurred. About the hypertropia at reoperative evaluation, it's related to the decrease of rate of reoperation with a 95 confidence interval. This can be explained that in some children, hypertropia may appear at the later stage after the first intervention. About the preoperative angle, this study reported that large angle doesn't associated with the risk of reoperation. This contrasts with many studies before. There are two main points of this study I wanna mention. The first, the risk factors of infantile esotropia reoperation. The most important clinical factors is the timing of the initial surgery. and some demographic factors like sex, family history, or tradition can be associated with the higher risk of reoperation. Some factors less fully associated with worse motor outcome. However, it does not influence the reoperation, and hypertrophy may relate to the low risk of reoperation. And the second point is the timing for surgery of infantile endometrial patient. The author give the advice that the optimal time for initial surgery of infantile endometrial patient is between 12 and 24 first months of life. My presentation has finished. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Dr. Chan, for your presentation. You just reviewed a paper about the risk factor associated with the operation for the patient who have infantile esotropia. So is there any comment or question from the audience? Yes, Dr. Dick, please.
Thank you, Dr. Chan, for the review one article on the infantile transmural surgery. And I think it is only the result of one study, and it's not represent for the clinical feature of the infantile transmural management. Because actually the result from this study is quite different from other studies have been published. And I agree that the reoperation for the transmural surgery is quite common. As in the literature, they also report that it's from 19 to 69% of patients can have reoperations. And when I was in the United States, and my teacher also said to me that you always have to tell parents that, explain for the parents that just try, maybe need more than one operation. Whenever you do operation, transmural surgery for the patient, you have to say to the parents that just try maybe need more than one operation. That means that the chance for reoperation is very high. And the reason for reoperations depend on many factors, like the angle of deviation. I don't know why in this study with the patient who has the transmural more than 60 prism diopter, and they do operation only for 2 muscles, but it's the reoperation, the chance for reoperation is not related to the angle of deviation. And that's the third group, I mean, more than 60 prism diopter. And in this study, most patients belong to 3 groups: bilateral recession, or inferior oblique recession or transposition. And with the patient who have a very large deviation with the 2 muscle, it's sometimes very difficult to correct the transmural. And the reoperation also depend on the decision of the surgeon. Some surgeons decide with the patient who have a very big deviation. Some surgeons would like to do maximum in two muscles first. And after they do maximum 2 muscle, and then they evaluate after surgery. And if needed, they will do the second operation because they don't want to do 3 muscle, and they would like to save 1 muscle. And the second operation is easier to assess to correct the deviation. And also sometimes like vertical deviation, nystagmus, and amblyopia, and all these and DVD, for example, and cross fixation, and with those patients who have a big deviation is not enough. So I surprised when I saw this conclusion that all these factors is not related to the rate of reoperation. So actually, so this is only one article only. So we have to reference other article, and I think the result is quite different with this one. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Dick. I just want to mention a few things. First, let's come back to the slide you talk about the methodology, the research. I think that when we make the review of the paper, we should see the value of the paper. That's very important. But this paper published, and it is surgery of only one surgeon, and the time is very long from let's say 30 years, 34 years. So let's come back here from 1980 to 2040. It's long. And so from very young surgeon to experienced surgeon, it's a big difference. That's one thing. And that's the first thing. The second thing, now that is the year 2020 now, and 6 years before. So I think there's a big difference between 6 years before and now. That's the first thing. And the second thing, as Dr. Singh has said, that is the outcome of only one surgeon. And it's only one paper. Yes. But as I said last time, and also Dr. Danush mentioned, we want to make a review of something, some issue, some problem. For example, you want the same topic for infantile isotopia, refractor associated with the operation. You can find the system, many papers. And you should take the most recent papers, the most public. I think that's much better. It should be public last year or this year or the year in 1980. I think much better. And if the better takes the review paper, it means that the paper have outcome of many publications. That's it. So we have overview of the research. That's much better. So I don't want to go into the detail because I don't think that have mentioned. But I think by that way, your paper will be more useful for you and for us. Yeah. So let me say some words about the presentation. You may know why the director is not happy with the presentation. Because the speaker herself did not do the surgery. Yeah, and that's only the theory. And when I see the paper, I like in my introduction, I like to Dr. Hamid share not only his knowledge but also the experiences. And I think that the group of the speaker, the group of the presenter, will share the outcome and the experiences in doing that. And I do hope that in the presentation we see that Dr. Tui will see that, and we see the outcome like this because Dr. Tui, he have a thesis, a PhD on that topic. And if Dr. Sum also have the same thing. And I hope that Dr. Han, she is on behalf of the book, we present all that data. Yeah, but in fact, we couldn't find that in the presentation. So in my opinion, when we choose something, first the topic. The topic not too specific. If it's too specific, nobody can share with us. That's one thing. It should be in one small group and very specific one. That's good. But for the public, for general doctor, we should do something other people can talk, can understand, and can share. That's the first thing. The second thing, we should do something you work, you have your experiences. And also, you share your experiences and also share the knowledge from the literature. I think by that way, the topic, the presentation will be more interesting, and I think people can involve, people can talk and share with us. Otherwise, there are only few of us, and some people don't want to hear, and some people want to know more. So, like a presentation like that. And if you want to present something very new, it's the better by the experienced doctor. Like Dr. Kong or like Dr. Sum, they have experiences already, and now it's a world, they have a new technique. Now we would like to present a new technique so people can see. I think by that way. That's my personal opinion. I'd like to share with you. So we hope that by that way, our presentation will be more interesting and more useful for us. I don't think you agree with that, or you have any comment about it? Yeah. Okay, Dr. Gu, you want to say something?
Thank you very much, Professor Dong, about you share with us. In fact, that if you do like you talk, it's very useful for every people, but something difficult. For example, resident doctor is very young, so if you do the new topic like a review or the thing about the one topic like that, so maybe and I think that the one proposed of this meeting is to the opportunity for everybody to practice the text.
Yes, that's true. I completely agree with you. But to talk, we have something to talk, right? You can say now today's weather is very beautiful, so everybody can say yes, very beautiful or something else. But if you say something difficult, something very specific, other people cannot share with you. And like a resident, now here that is paper review, right? I just say the way we choose the paper. We should choose the overview paper. That's one thing, the important thing. That's the overview. So in that paper, the author review many papers. So it says it, and then they have a conclusion. That's better than the simple paper or only one study, only one research like that. You understand me? You understand what I have to say? Or I better say it differently? Yeah, right. So I have to practice my English. So that is the way I recommend. So you can see that because in the literature, you can take the statistics. This is it. So in the paper there are a lot of review. So you can take one review and you just say that here I read this paper and that's the overview paper. So I present to you. It's like this, like that. I think that's okay. That's enough. And for other doctors, like Dr. Han, you have some year experiences. You may do some surgery, right? And today you can present some of my difficult case like this, like that. And I do it, and the outcome like that. At the end, I don't know what to do. So I present my cases. So please help me to resolve my problem. And then I review the literature. I see that it should be like that, should be like this. I think it should be easier. Yeah. Yeah. And by that way, Dr. Da, you want to add something? Yeah. So the only thing I want to say, even though it's quite late now, we would like to have a more interesting, more useful presentation for everybody. And everybody can talk with us, can share with us not only when talking about cornea, only cornea specialists, or we are talking about refraction, only refractive specialist can talk. Yeah, like this. Simple as this.
Thank you very much for your very opening opinion.
Yeah.
I think that's I think that I can share some maybe the idea that when I was studying in France, we have also the 2 days in the week.
Yeah.
1 day for the senior meeting and 1 day for the junior meeting.
Yeah.
And for the junior meeting is I think that's my very famous professor say that you always talk what the audience wants to listen, not what the knowledge you know.
Yeah.
So that's why for the I think that for the junior, for the resident, it's very practical, very important for us and for them to show how they can learn, how they can do in the practice in the very standard way. So that's why I think that maybe in this meeting they can show what is a very special clinical case they met in the week or something like that, and share how they overcome the problem, and can ask the senior or the mentor how to overcome and how to correct the treatment or the diagnosis, something like that. I think this is very useful for us and also for the young doctors.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. That is why I told Dr. Han, I think all of us here or some of us here that we have some difficult cases. That is topic for us to discuss. And by that way, the more senior doctor can say, yeah, you can do this, you can do that, or we can find out some information from literature. By that way, it's easier. And for senior one, like Dr. Kung, Dr. Kwok Anh, Dr. Teng, and Dr. Da, you have something new on the literature, and you can talk about that. And here, of course, now in Vietnam, we haven't done that, but in the world, scientific on this side, so we can learn more. So by that way, it seems to be that by that way we can improve our orientation and it will be more useful. So I'm sorry to say much, and anyway, thank you very much, Dr. Han and Dr. Chan, and let's think that the criticism of other people will help us to improve ourselves. So smile with that, yes, don't be sad. Han, can you smile? Can you laugh? Okay, so thank you very much again. Yes.